I'd like to thank everybody for stopping on this video. We're posting this on our social media accounts and basically using this as a resource for our clients and for our prospects. So today we're going to be talking about managed detection and response, or what the techies call MDR. And I have brought on our partner, Justin Weller with Blackpoint Cybersecurity. Just full disclosure, he's been our partner for several years as far as Blackpoint goes. I'm Nate Howe. I am the Vice President of Advanced Solutions. And so if you don't mind, Justin, just kind of start off, just give me a little bio about yourself and maybe how you came to be with Blackpoint.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks so much. Man, we really love partnering with you guys over there. It's been a great relationship, to say the least, especially how forward thinking you've been about security, right? I mean, leading with security. Listen, we try to preach that message consistently. It's always nice to work with people that are about, hey, we lead with security. We start with the assumption that a breach is going to happen, and we work our way backwards on our security and our proactivity plan. So it's not just about uptime; it's also about making sure that you're being proactive on that side, which is great. But as far as like my background, my name's Justin Weller. I'm the director of product marketing over here at Blackpoint. But I actually come from the IT space myself. I've been an IT hobbyist pretty much my whole life. I spent 7 years at an MSP, kind of holding every role that you could hold: level 1 tech, level 2 tech, service desk lead. I was a project engineer for a while, projects manager. And then I was kind of a lone wolf, one-man shop for a couple of years, running my own MSP before spending the last almost 5 years in MSP-focused vendors. I was a senior solutions engineer for a while, and now I'm director of product marketing over here at Blackpoint.
Great. Yeah. So your history runs deep. That's good. So you kind of know the ins and outs of all the kind of the MSP, the cybersecurity realm. That's good to know.
Definitely.
So tell me a little bit about Blackpoint, kind of its business model and kind of how it got started.
So, in regards to kind of like the business model and kind of who Blackpoint is, how we got started was really from our founder and CEO, John Murchison. John Murchison is an incredible network engineer, but also spent 12 years in the NSA doing high priority missions for the U.S. government in cybersecurity. And I know I'll throw the elephant in the room out right now that all the security vendors are playing some sort of a government security card in 2023. But here's where it gets kind of unique. For those of you that are watching this that don't understand this, the NSA, like 95% of it's actually reactionary. It's kind of hands-on keyboards, defensive posture. John was part of the 5% that was offensive. So he was doing things that if he was successful, we really didn't hear anything about. But if he was unsuccessful, it was probably news at 11 kind of stuff. And so after doing that for 12 years, he got out of the NSA and said, man, what am I going to do next? Well, listen, I've spent a career trying to or being successful in circumventing all of these different traditional software and hardware security solutions that are out there to not get caught. Well, what if I were to build something that would have caught me? How would I do that? And that's essentially how Blackpoint Cyber got started.
Awesome. Yeah. Kind of work that backwards, right? How would you stop someone? You have to kind of be in their shoes and act like them, be the thief, if you will. That's great.
Correct.
All right. So, MDR is a big topic, managed detection response. There is a big difference between that and just your basic antivirus. Can you kind of go into the components of what MDR is and how it differs from, the traditional cybersecurity solutions, say like antivirus?
Yeah, definitely. Really a couple of key pieces here, right? So, there's really two sides of the battle that become really, really difficult for small to medium-sized businesses and really any business for that matter to try to defend against. The first side is what's called malware, which pretty much everyone has heard of, right? This is where your endpoint detection and response, your next generation antivirus products, that's really where they're going to lie. This is going to be more known bad. Hey, if this happens, then this happens, then this happens, then I'm going to do this, kind of software fighting software, if you will. The other side of the battle, though, is this product called, or this philosophy called live off the land tradecraft. And that is actually what John used to do. So those traditional things that I was talking about earlier was that malware-based approach, right? Like, hey, let's make sure the doors are locked, but we've also got sentries that know about known bad applications, right? Well, this is where live off the land tradecraft becomes so difficult, because what they're doing is threat actors are trying to hide themselves from these traditional solutions that are out there. And they're going to utilize legitimate IT tools to be able to do so. They're going to utilize stuff that's built into Windows, stuff that's built into Mac, those kinds of things. And really, the MDR side of the house that we provide here focuses more on the tradecraft. That's what we call the behavior that threat actors are using, not necessarily just the tools. So the tools are important to be able to stop, but it's that behavior that's designed to hide themselves from those software solutions. And that's going to be the biggest difference between something like Blackpoint and some sort of an EDR. We're focused on the behavior. Hey, what happens when this threat actor lands in? And where it can become difficult is the kill chain, or the kill chain order that when they talk about, the playbook, so to speak, for threat actors. It's not really linear. They plan and they try to complete their objective, but what happens in between is different. Sometimes they drop a ransomware payload. Sometimes they will start scanning the network to see other ways they can get in. Sometimes they will try to laterally move to different types of locations or devices, right? But the truth is, regardless of the order of operations, the right managed detection and response solution can take all of those events, correlate them, regardless of the order, in order to be able to identify this as one alert for elite response times. And that's what we do here at Blackpoint.
Yeah, and I've kind of explained it to some of our clients in a way that you've got kind of like your malware software. You've got your things that antivirus will stop if it notices the process. It's kind of like securing a home. You know, if someone comes up to your door, they have the wrong key, they're not going to be able to get in. Antivirus kind of stops it. Yeah. As opposed to when you have managed detection and response, it's not only, hey, there's someone at the door, but it notices them. Like if you had a security system with cameras and people monitoring you 24/7, they're seeing the person walk on the property, and all of a sudden now the red lights are coming on. I was like, hey, what's going on? And as they get to the door, there's another like, okay, now we're going to stop them. And not only that, but if they were to leave, it kind of tracks them and follows that, like an IP address. Where'd that IP address come from? Was it China? Was it Russia? I mean, there's a lot of details that go into the difference between kind of your basic security and like your full-blown monitored, you know, and response security.
Well, to kind of pivot on that a little bit as well, when it comes to, you know, your endpoint detection and response, or your AV alerts, right? So part of the product that we offer here at Blackpoint is that we'll actually ingest the alerts and the metadata for those next-gen antivirus and those next-gen EDR solutions into our 24/7 human proactive threat hunting SOC team, like actual humans looking at the network 24 hours a day.
Right.
And what we'll do is we'll take a look at those, the metadata, and alert for those, and we'll action on those as well. Now, with that being said, you know, 85% of the alerts that we took action on, or the things that we did as a SOC, came with no corresponding EDR alert. We're not knocking EDR, it's still really good. So what the thing is, most of the time, the way that it's going to work is we're going to take a look at those EDR alerts, and we're just going to say, hey, it did exactly what it was supposed to do, right? It found the thing that it knew, and it went ahead and stopped that process. Sometimes, though, it also leaves artifacts, right? Hey, it cleaned up 96% of what it's supposed to. Our SOC is going to take a look at it and say, here's a list of the things that you should go ahead and clean up. However, this isn't super common, but it's also not uncommon that the EDR solution says, hey, we did everything we were supposed to do. We found it, we stopped the attack, it was an active attack, and we killed it. And we take a look on the back end and we're like, oh, actually, no, the process is running on the back end at this point. EDR missed. Now, again, is that a super high percentage? It's not. But what it is, for the people that don't have someone actively looking at those different things, they're going to get an alert from whatever antivirus or EDR solution. They're like, oh, man, thank goodness I had that. It solved the problem. When the reality is it didn't. Now there's a back door open that no one's going to know unless someone was taking a look at it.
Yeah, and that's the benefit of having those real, you know, real-time, 24/7 monitoring, real people looking at these things, taking a look, diving deeper and deeper until it's like, okay, no, now we've spotted, you know, that it wasn't just a surface problem. It was going deep, and had we not stopped it, again, and not to jump too far ahead, but That's one of the things I love about Blackpoint is your reporting. We started doing technology business reviews with a lot of our clients, and it's awesome 10-page, just, I mean, it's a lot of information, but it's summarized to where a business owner can really delve in and see, okay, this is how many threats we had. This is what was hunted. This is what was detected. This is what was responded to and stopped. And that's what they want to see. They want to see, okay, is my MSP, is my cybersecurity platform doing what they're supposed to be doing and keeping us protected? Because they don't see this every day. They don't see the thousands and thousands of, alerts and hits that are coming at them. But if we show it in a report and we let them know, hey, you don't see it, but this is what's going on in the background. And this is why we're partnering with Blackpoint. It's a protective shield that, again, you're glad you don't have to deal with on a daily basis. That's what you pay us for, but it is there and it is doing its job. So, so kind of going into, what's going on today, you've got a lot of these public breaches that are making the news. Toyota gets hit with the Medusa ransomware virus, Tyson Foods, they get hit with the Snatch ransomware. And from what I'm reading in my research, there's, comparative to last year, we're like 95% up in these cyber crimes. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, COVID and during the pandemic, that's when it really hit. And quite frankly, that's kind of when we had to revamp our whole thought process of where we needed to go with, cybersecurity. But, what are the typical signs that an organization, may need MDR services for? What are the potential consequences of them not having that threat detection and response in place?
So here's the thing. I got to be honest with you. It's 2023, and I'm going to sound like a homer here for sure. But I also believe everything that I'm going to say here right now. At this point, it's table stakes as far as I'm concerned. The reality of the situation is that threat actors have identified that small to medium sized businesses are very viable targets, right? So many people are like, oh, well, I'm not big enough to be attacked. No, you're just not big enough to make the news. You still got benefit. You've still got those kinds of things. And historically, you're not, we take a look at these major things, right? So Toyota, MGM, Tyson Foods, Colonial Pipeline, all of these different things that we've seen, right? Do you think that they have a smaller budget for cybersecurity than small to medium-sized businesses, or a larger one? A larger one, right? And so, like, threat actors know this, and it's also unique as well. Keep in mind, these are I don't want to call them legitimate businesses, but these people, the whole idea of that kid sitting in a dark closet with a hoodie on, typing away on a keyboard by themselves, hiding from, that's not how it is. No. It's not how it is. They wake up every day. They go to the office just like you do for the most part. They have customer service phone numbers, and you can go on eBay style sites and you can start bidding on breached networks depending on the number. Like, it is a well organized situation that we're in today. And so not having somebody there to take a look at things 24/7, it's a massive thing. Because let's take a look at this from an incident response standpoint, right? Why do you not want to have any kind of an incident whatsoever? Well, think about this. When that happens, now you've got to start worrying about breach counsel, cyber insurance, lawyers. If you're in a field where there are regulations, now I've got to deal with the government. And here's the thing. While this investigation is happening, all they're going to continuously be doing is pointing the finger at you, at the business, asking you why you didn't do the things. Not one of those entities are trying to help you regain everything up and running again. They're all trying to say, oh, well, we're not responsible because of this, or you're responsible because you didn't do this. And so now when the dust finally settles, after dealing with all of that nonsense, when the dust settles, guess what? Their job's over, but your job just begun. And think about the reputational damage, your customers. There's so much that comes to it. So the cost of a breach significantly outweighs the cost of preventing a breach. And that's why, again, we love working with partners like you, because you understand that you lead with cybersecurity first, and you've partnered with us. So our platform is actually is built based on industry standard best practice frameworks, right? To keep you as far away from that incident as humanly possible, while still giving you options to be able to live to fight another day, so to speak, in the worst case scenario. But with all that being said, that means a really long way to answer the question that you were asking. I mean, really, what types of businesses should use an MDR? Really, it's 2023. everyone. I mean, everything's on the internet. We have moved dramatically to a cloud type of environment. And what that's done is this. Before, when everything was on premise, when everything was inside the castle, so to speak, everybody woke up every day, they drove to that one location, you had to secure that one location. Well, now we fired everything up into the cloud, which is very great. It's convenient. The security is there. It's fantastic. But what we've now done is we've exposed the attack surface to the entire world. And so having the ability to protect your on-premise devices, your remote workers, your online presence as well, it's integral. And that's why we built what we built today. And you just need to have it in 2023. Long answer to a short question. Sorry.
No, but you're 100% correct. I mean, when hackers went from just being disturbances or just messing with stuff because they could to now they're organized businesses with like marketing departments. I mean, these guys they're posting on the dark web and social media accounts, and they're promoting how good they are and how they've made so much money that they're stopping business because they've already made $1 billion. I mean, they are at the point that they're offering this as a service. I mean, it's literally ransomware as a service now.
Exactly correct.
It's too easily accessible for almost anyone now to go on and to try to utilize this, this type of cyber crime as a way to generate money. And
100%.
I think I even saw there was an article where it was a ransomware that had hacked. It was a publicly traded company. And not only did they hack them, but they reported the company to the SEC because the company had not reported that they had been hacked within the 4-day time frame that the SEC requires. So the gall of these guys, they're ratting out the companies that they're hacking to the SEC. I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's incredible. And so here's the other thing as well. We're seeing a massive rise in double extortion where they'll come in and they'll start exfiltrating data, then they'll hit you with the ransomware. And then whether you pay them or you don't, well, now I've still got your data and they're going to keep coming back to the well. I feel like this would be an excellent double extortion thing as well. They hit them with the ransomware and, I can't verify this, but I mean, based on what I've seen and what we've been seeing here, it wouldn't shock me that the reason why they went to the SEC was because they didn't pay them more money to not go to the SEC, if I had to guess.
I totally, and that's the funny thing. Anytime someone gets hacked, you only get bits and pieces of the story because they don't
100%.
want to tell the public, they got hacked. But once the hacker puts it out there, they've got it. Okay, now it's like damage control. We gotta go out there and protect our image. Yes, we were hacked, but it was minimal and it was this, and we got it taken care of. And when they know they paid probably millions of dollars in ransom to get it squashed, to get their data back, or so that their data isn't released. You're exactly right. It's not just about them destroying your information anymore. It's about them exposing it, and whether it's trade secrets or emails that people don't want to read or websites that they went on they shouldn't have gone on. I mean, there's a lot of facets to the whole cybercrime and the way this stuff works. So no, great information.